Hi guys, welcome to Tree Cat Tarot. I'm Tree Cat, and it's been a minute, hasn't it? Um, as those of you who are previous watchers, already subscribed, may have noticed, I did not do a pick a card for December. In fact, I basically entirely disappeared for probably a month and a half, something like that. Um, I'm back. Nothing major. Everything's good. I needed to really address my mental health. I needed to really address my mental health. And I was just kind of in a place where I couldn't do much more than just like go to work for a little while there and then, you know, got on some antidepressants. And I just decided to go ahead and give myself time for them to just actually work and get me into a better place. And here we are. So, welcome. The other thing, those of you who are familiar with my channel may have noticed, is I'm not doing zodiac reads. At time of filming, it is the 29th of December, and I just don't have time to film all 12 zodiac signs. I still have a 9 to 5 that I have to go to. Um, I still have my writing community and all this other stuff, and I still do private readings. So I just ran myself way too low on time. So I'm sorry for those of you who really like the zodiac format that we normally do and like being able to see like 3 different videos. Just to get an overview of your month. We're not doing that this month. However, we are doing a pick a card. And I went ahead and I picked out 4 oracle decks to go with these pick a cards, which I've already laid out for you. And we're going to use the totally unofficial Adventure Time Tarot for your read. I feel like this is the deck I haven't shown enough love to yet. And with that all being said, let's go ahead and get started. Going to introduce you to your decks in a minute, and also we are going to do, like, even though I'm not doing reads based on your zodiac signs, we are going to do the same format. So we're going to look at your oracle cards, we'll look at an overview of something going on in the month of January for you, and then we'll take 2 tarot cards apiece to take a look at your love and relationships, career and finances, and health and spirituality. And let me go ahead and introduce you to your piles. So, pile 1, you have this sticker. I've got a good heart, but this mouth. Okay. For pile 2, you have living the, whoa, there we go. Living the dream one nightmare at a time. And then for pile 3, you have the sticker that says, if I had to run for my life, I would probably die. So, those are your 3 snarky stickers to pick from for these piles. I assume your reads are going to be equally snarky. And you can go ahead and meditate on the piles, pick the sticker that resonates with you. You can go with what it says. You can go with the font if that speaks with you. If the coloration speaks to you, you can go with that. Some people like to choose using the timestamp that each pile is assigned to. Whatever the case, go ahead, take a second, meditate on the piles, choose, and I will see you there. Hi, pile 1. If you chose the I've got a good heart but this mouth sticker, then this is your pile. I love each of these stickers for just like very different reasons. This one, I literally just love what it says because it resonates a lot with me. Okay. Um, my friend sent me these stickers. I love her so very much. Shout out to um, Athena, also known as Rowena. I know in mythology they are not the same person. Do not come at me. That's how she likes to be known. So, shout out to her. And let's go ahead and take a look at your cards. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117 Right now, I'm thinking of the song Slow Dancing in the Dark by Joji. I don't know if that song has a message for you. I don't know if it's going to resonate with what's going on in the cards, but we'll take a look here and I'll let you know, especially if when we get to the love portion. It's a moody jam if you want to listen to it. Like I would suggest it. It comes Tree Cat suggested. So, for month of January, we have people are getting on my nerves. Blank would keep me from going crazy. Compassionate detachment. I definitely think that would keep someone from going crazy. Shutting my mouth and listening. Interesting, especially because you chose I've got a good heart but this mouth. So maybe you have maybe there's a tendency to like go off a little bit that we're going to be working on this month. What else do we have here? Oh, I have a feeling we're not going to have room for everything. Oh well. You know, too, like actually thinking of the song Slow Dancing in the Dark, one of the overall themes of that song is actually a person deciding for themselves that someone else isn't going to want them. Like it's someone deciding for themselves that the person that they have affection for would just be better with somebody else. And I think that's an interesting thing to come into this reading because that, shutting your mouth and listening, like rather than telling a person that you don't think you would be the best choice for them, you you would be better served by just telling them how you feel and then finding out letting them decide, because you can't really decide for another person what is or is not best for them, unless of course that person is your 5-year old. Then you can decide all the things which are better for them or not. But considering that that song is in the context of a romantic interest, I don't think that that's what we're talking about, unless, of course, you need to take the lyrics a bit more loosely. I don't know. That is for you to decide. But maybe that applies. Maybe not. We do have house here with the number 4, so maybe the fourth or just the number 4 is important. House does talk about like just the whole of domesticality. So maybe you're having issues getting along within your own household. That could be a possibility here, but we'll see what else we have. We have charismatic, financial burdens, and made a mistake. Maybe you're trying to sell a house. Maybe you're trying to move away from a stressful living situation. That's something I could also see here. We also have card number 30, so the 30th. That also could be a significant date for you. I surrender to the power of prayer and devotion. And you see how she's kind of like holding a cup and praying over it from the looks of it? Like maybe it made me think of how some people turn to the act of making a pot of tea as a meditative act, because they need to be able to do something physically, but the act of making tea, you have to be so concentrated on the temperature, the leaves, watching the color, knowing how hot the water needs to be, knowing when the timing of everything, how long it needs to steep. You need to be incredibly present when you are making a pot of tea, or else you fuck up your pot of tea, right? So maybe learning to be really present in this moment right now. That is something I feel like, yeah, because I'm getting the feeling of like someone who maybe has a little bit of a hard time being super present, and it's because like they're stressed out or they have a very harsh inner voice or there's a lot in their mind. And everything going on upstairs is so incredibly distracting that, when someone says something to you, maybe you take it the wrong way because right now you don't think very good of yourself, struggling to be present, and then like you make a mistake, like when you brew the pot of tea. It says right here, made a mistake, in fact. So making sure that whatever you are doing this month, you are very present in what you're doing. If you need to have an important meeting, look at important paperwork, do something that's detail oriented. Even if you don't think you have anything on your mind that is distracting you, go ahead and take a second beforehand to just ground down into the earth or just breathe, say something kind to yourself, whatever helps to ground you. But you definitely, I feel like, need to get a grounding routine down, or just some kind of practice that helps to ground you. The other thing too, like, I surrender to the power of prayer and devotion, compassionate detachment. And that song is just stuck in my head right now. Being able to do what you need to do to make something occur, whether it be telling someone how you feel, maybe you're trying to sell a house, whatever. You can only do so much to make that situation go the way that you are imagining it's going to go or the way that you want it to go. And then the rest of it, you do have to just kind of let go. You have to just trust. You just have to trust that the universe is going to do whatever is best for you. Because you're the 5-year-old in this scenario, pile one. You're the 5-year-old for the universe. We are all 5-year-olds. And we have a lot of ideas about the way that we think shit should go. And the universe is like, no, no, no. This is how it's going to go. This is the way it is. Literally challenge me. And we can't. We're 5. We are all collectively 5 in the eyes of the universe. That is the gospel truth. So that's what I'm going with. So definitely we have some elements here with your oracle cards. Let's go ahead and get into your tarot for the overall. God, I'm opening this shit like I've never opened a box of tarot cards before. I'm a professional, I swear. I also feel like just like this is really calm imagery. It's countryside, it's rustic. This is calm energy. So like making sure that you can decompress this month on a daily basis, right? So the song playing in the background right now is Breeze Blocks by Alt J. And literally the lyrics are, please don't go, I love you so, please break my heart. And it's like you are deciding for another person how they're going to go about things. Like, it doesn't have to be romantically, but like, when we're avoiding something because we're afraid of the outcome, that's another thing that's coming through. So the month of January for pile 1, please, Spirit. Okay. We have the Page of Wands, the Queen of Cups, which does make me think about romantic stuff, or at least things with really high emotions involved. And we have the Seven of Swords. Okay. So for your overall month, we have the Page of Wands in reverse, we have the Queen of Cups, and we have the Seven of Swords here. So the Page of Wands in reverse really does make me think about a lack of confidence, and lack of confidence from a place of just not really knowing yourself or not seeing yourself clearly. That's what it's making me think of right now. The other thing with the Page of Wands is like, do you have friends who like they do art or they make music or they write or whatever, and their work, their creativity like just blows you away, but they think it ain't shit? Like they draw, something on the level of the Sistine Chapel, except it's on, like canvas. But they draw something on that level, right? Like something with a lot of spiritual meaning. It's super detailed. It just fills the entire canvas. Like it's insanely good. And you're like, holy shit, friend of pile one. Like this is nuts. And they're like, it ain't the Sistine Chapel. And you're like, but bitch, it is. I'm really mouthy this reading. I'm sorry. I hope that's your vibe. I hope I'm not offending anybody with how mouthy I'm being, but like, you ever have a friend like that? That's what Page of Wands in the reverse is giving. Okay, it's giving like someone who has a lack of confidence because they don't see themselves really as clearly. They don't give their accomplishments the weight that they need to be giving it. With the Queen of Cups here, especially when I'm looking at like, she's holding her baby, right? She's holding her baby and she has a smile on her face, but doesn't she just kind of look sad to you? Um so whatever's going on this month, whatever you're having a lack of confidence with, it is something that you have a lot of emotional investment in. And generally when we feel a lot of emotional investment in something, it's super easy to be harsh with ourselves because the more we love something, the more we care about it, the more it means to us. It's easier to be like, I can do this better, I can do that better, because you want everything you do for it to be perfect, whether it be an art project, a person, a child. She's literally holding a baby. So it could be that what's going on is that you're having a lot of harsh thoughts about the way you parent. Maybe the reason I keep bringing up a 5-year old and having that comparison is because you are a parent and you're just sitting here like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing with you. Maybe you'd be better off with your other parents. And I don't know that that's necessarily correct. Like, again, there's nothing here that really suggests that you're doing a bad job. What it's suggesting is that you're not seeing what you're doing clearly. Okay, and no parent feels like they know what they're doing, if that is your situation. No parent feels like they know what they're doing unless they're on to like their 10th kid, by which point, first of all, brava for having 10 kids. That's just, that sounds like a whole ass career to me. Second of all, by that point, you've been doing this long enough that you're like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, at least in terms of how I want to go about this. Because that's the other thing, too, right? Like, especially when it comes to parenting. This also, like, is the same when it comes to, like, dating, when it comes to creating, when it comes to really anything anyone does. But parenting, especially, everyone wants to tell you how to do it. Everyone wants to tell you that you're doing it wrong. And are there definitely people who could have done it better? Oh, absolutely. But as long as there is shelter, there is food, no one is getting abused, no one is getting neglected, you are present with your children when you can be. Not everyone has a Disney level childhood. Not everyone has it. That's a harsh reality of the world that we live in. But there are plenty of parents who can't give their kids a lot in terms of like material goods, but they're otherwise, they're meeting their physical needs, they're meeting their emotional needs. They're not telling their kids, that they're horrible or whatever. And the other thing, too, honestly, about the fact that people like to tell other people how to parent is the fact that, like, to be totally honest, like, I don't know how to say this in a way that's kind, so I'm just going to say it. No one comes away from their childhood without any trauma whatsoever, even if it's not from the parents. It could be trauma from another adult in their life. It could be trauma from, other kids. It could be trauma from society. And I'm not talking major trauma that requires loads of therapy. I'm not talking that kind of stuff. But everyone has their weird little things that they walk away from childhood with. Everyone. So don't be hard on yourself. With the Seven of Swords here, though, this is the one area where I'm having concern. The Seven of Swords does suggest some level of stealthiness, sneaking around, doing something you're not necessarily proud of. And maybe you're doing something you're not necessarily proud of in order to get by, in order to make sure the bills are paid and food's on the table. I don't know what that is. I'm not here to judge. And if that's the reason that you are being very harsh with yourself about what you're doing in order to get by, in order to survive, in order to provide, honestly, as long as you're not hurting anyone, like, you do what you end up having to do. Okay, people who work 3 jobs, they don't want to work 3 jobs. No one, is a kid like, I want to work 3 jobs when I grow up. No one, like, or if you, this just occurred to me for some reason, if you have to break away from your family's way of typically doing things and you have to be kind of hush hush about it because they're just gonna like be up your butt about it when they find out that like maybe in your family or in your culture, like say you have to do the single parent thing, maybe in your family and your culture that's like super taboo, but it's like if the other person is choosing not to be there or they're just not a good partner to you, you can't do anything about another person's behavior. What you can do is walk away. What you can do is remove yourself from a situation which is unhealthy. So that is all I feel like I have to say about that particular subject. This, I feel like, has gone in a few different directions. So remember, like, always take what resonates with you. Don't make anything fit. I'm going to put these up here. And now we're going to move on to the love and relationships portion of your reading. Okay. Well then, we have 9 of Wands and we have the Sun. That's an interesting combo. The 9 of Wands is about not giving up. The Sun is about happiness. I feel like in terms of love and relationships, yeah, if you are someone where the parts of the reading where I'm talking about you kind of deciding for another person, like, you wouldn't want me, you'd be better off with somebody else, don't do that. Don't do that. Simply go for what you want. Don't give up. Don't decide for another person whether or not you are the best thing for them. And you're actually going to be happy for the fact that you didn't do that. You're going to be thankful for the fact that you did not, in fact, self sabotage. The other thing here that is catching my eye is, if I'm seeing her properly, this is Flame Princess, I believe. Flame Princess, she is an interesting figure because she has a very, very short temper, and she's very sensitive. Um, Flame Princess is incredibly insecure. And because she's incredibly insecure, she takes a lot of things hard and a lot of things harshly. And instead of like letting herself be seen vulnerable or letting herself get upset, she gets angry and she literally sets everything on fire. Okay? Don't burn down everything around you just because you're afraid it's not for you, especially when it comes to relationships. The other thing too, the sun is card number 19, so that date could also be significant to you. Or maybe this has to do with someone born on the 19th, or maybe someone who is roughly 19 years old. Um, the other thing is it's Leo energy. So a Leo could be significant in terms of love and relationships. Um, yeah, I feel like that's all I have for this part of your reading. So let's go ahead and move on to your career and finances, because I feel like we haven't really talked about that. Okay, we have the Queen of Coins in the reverse, which resonates with financial burdens. Yes, someone out here is struggling to make ends meet. I'm definitely getting that. Okay. We also have the Four of Swords in the reverse, and we have the Seven of Coins also in the reverse. Okay. So this is showing me that you have some kind of financial situation going on where something wasn't planned properly. You didn't look carefully at a contract, you didn't look carefully at paperwork, you didn't save enough money, you spent money you shouldn't have, that, this, and the other. Something was not planned very well, and now you are struggling with money. You're struggling to feel abundant. You're struggling to feel stable and secure. And with the Four of Swords in reverse here, it's definitely showing this franticness that you're feeling in the month of January to get it together and to figure something out. I actually want to get advice for this particular set. Sorry about that. That was a mistake. Didn't mean to do that. My setup is so ridiculously sensitive. Okay. All right. So, advice for pile one for their finances, Spirit. We have the world, completion. So, if there's something that I'm getting two things for this. So first, the literal meaning, the world, completion. If there is something that you have been stagnant about getting done, about completing this end or the other, there's something that's nagging at you that you know you need to address. Spirit's telling you that in order to better your financial situation in January, you need to just address the thing. You need to just start tying up strings of all the things that you haven't gotten done yet. Whether that be, finishing whatever you need to do to sell a house, whether that be, maybe there's a project you're lagging on, like a work project. Or for some of you, I'm getting it's not quite a work project, but maybe it's an independent project. And it's one that, like, it's not bringing you income yet. And maybe the reason you haven't been working on it is because you doubt its ability to bring you income. So instead, you're focusing on things that are guaranteed sources of income, or at least they feel more guaranteed. But Spirit wants you to go ahead and just do the thing that you've been ignoring. The thing that you think is not guaranteed. Spirit wants you to do that. The other thing with the world is, sorry, I just got really hazy for a second there. The other thing with the world that I was getting is asking for outside help. Relying on your community, relying on your community. And just like, if you're comfortable, like, just posting on Facebook if anyone can help you with this task, if anyone can help you with that thing, just be open to who responds to you. Or if you have like a group chat or your family or whatever, like, just put out there that you need help and be open to whoever says they're willing to help you. The world is also card number 21, and it's associated with all of the fixed signs. So that is Leo popping up again, that is Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus. The other thing with the fixed signs is one of the reasons that they're considered fixed signs is they're all very stubborn, and they don't really have they're not followers, but they're not leaders either. They're kind of rogues. They like to do their own thing. They like to reinvent the wheel. Maybe, you kind of cast your net, see who's willing to help you this month, and maybe someone has an idea that you haven't considered yet. And that alone can be a load of help. Even if they don't actually do anything in the physical realm to help you, if they have an idea that you hadn't even thought of, or a suggestion or a lead, sometimes that is more than enough. So, yeah, that is Spirit's advice for you for your career and finances in the month of January. Now, let's go ahead and move on to your health and spirituality. This has already been like just holy shit of a reading. So, let's see what we got here for you. Health and spirituality for pile 1, please. That's. I'll do 3, fuck it. We have a lot of queens here. I feel like whoever I'm talking to is definitely someone who resonates with feminine energy, whether you be a man or a woman, that does not matter. Energy is what matters. Everyone has masculine and feminine energy. I don't think I need to explain that to you. I feel like it's a very prevalent part of our societal changes that we've been going through lately. Like, I feel like everyone's talking about masculine and feminine energy. If you don't know what that is, that's literally a YouTube search away. Watch like 6 videos about it. You will have a good understanding after that. So, rant over. We have the Queen of Swords in the reverse, which resonates a lot with shutting my mouth and listening and compassionate detachment. We have the Three of Swords. Oof. And we have the Four of Wands in the reverse. So with the Three of Swords coming out with the Four of Wands in reverse, you either expected a relationship to occur that isn't going to, or you're still healing from a breakup. I don't see a breakup happening right now with these cards, but what I do see is maybe you're still healing from heartache, or you're healing from like something that never got off the ground. You're healing from someone breaking promises to you. That's what I'm really getting with Four of Wands in reverse coming out with the Three of Swords. And then with the Queen of Swords in reverse, this is someone who is definitely very defensive. Definitely super defensive, kind of moves in such a way where, like, They expect everyone to hurt them. That has been coming out a lot in this particular reading. If that is you, I feel for you. I really, really feel for you because I was that way only a couple years ago. I literally approached every single person, especially men. Like, cool, when's the other, like, you're cool now, when's the other shoe gonna drop? When are you gonna do this? When are you gonna do that? Yeah, you're gonna hurt me, it's a matter of time. Like, I moved like that in all of my relationships, friendships, family members, especially. Men especially. I was a little defensive with my I was a little on the defense when I first moved in with my current roommate, which I had no reason to be. He's literally been the best roommate I've ever had. But yeah, so moving in such a way where like you're still really wounded and you're trying to protect this wound, and that's perfectly fine and valid, but you can't be approaching everybody with a sword at your side. Like, that doesn't make for creating connection and creating friendships. And there's just really a need to sit with it. And the way that I dealt with that and healed that is trying not to like find what wasn't being said. Okay, that was the thing I was always doing. Someone would say something to me, totally innocent, and instead of taking it at face value, I would look for the insidious thing that was behind everything, or the thing that they weren't saying, or whatever. Don't do that. Don't be super defensive this month. Don't expect people to betray you. Obviously, use your head, but don't let anxiety, which is attached to past hurts, run your mental emotional show for you. You need to practice, like this card said, compassionate detachment. Get a good sense of your boundaries, as in where you end and another person begins. Get a good sense of those things. Respect your own boundaries. Learn to respect your own boundaries, because often one of the reasons that we become super defensive with other people and we push people away is because we don't actually trust ourselves to uphold our boundaries. We don't trust ourselves to walk away the moment someone shows us who they are. So instead, we just keep everyone away. Get really firm about your boundaries, what they look like, what those need to mean to you. And then don't build the bridge for both people. Don't build a connection for both people. Do what you need to do. You don't need to do the bare minimum, but you don't need to do too much either. If you're trying to build a friendship with someone and you want to hang out with them, like, just put out the text message you want to hang out with them and then leave it. And if they don't necessarily want to hang out with you, it doesn't mean they don't like you. They could just be busy. They could have something else going on. Their social battery could be low. So don't take it harshly, but also don't nag them. Know where you end and another person begins. Also know where another person ends and you begin. And just let people do what they're going to do. Try to take it at face value. There isn't a underlying motive to every little thing a person does. Most people in general are good. Most people in general are good. Even people who are hurting. Okay, because often it's the people that, seem very angry, or they're, quick to jump the gun or what have you. Often at the bottom of that person's just hurting. They're hurting or they're scared. And it's really hard to be able to take a step back and be like, cool, I'm not going to take this personally. This has nothing to do with me. It's about you. And you simply hold the boundary of, okay, but you can't talk to me like that. And you leave it be. You don't make it about you, right? I feel like I jumbled a lot of different topics in the whole realm of like learning not to be defensive, but there's definitely videos out there and books out there that are good for that topic. I'm just kind of talking about my overall experience in terms of me learning to not be so defensive. But yeah, I do see that being something that you need to address this month. You have a lot going on for you. You have a lot going on in the month of January, pile one. Um, you're probably just overwhelmed. Just learn to breathe, learn to ground, learn to trust the universe, and learn to just let other people show you who they are instead of trying to control everything. Okay? That is all I have for you, pile one. Thank you for coming to your reading. Leave a comment if you made it all the way to the bottom, and like, comment, subscribe if you feel like you want to go ahead and follow this channel. If not, no big deal. I will see you again. And be good, be safe, and love and light to you. Bye. Hi, Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. If you chose the Living the Dream One Nightmare at a Time sticker, then this is your pile. I think of the 3 stickers, this one's actually my favorite. Don't tell the other piles, but this one's my favorite. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a look at your cards with the sticker Living the Dream One Nightmare at a Time. It makes me think about those people who are like currently working a job that they don't love, and they're just trying to make the best of it, even if they have to be sarcastic, even if they have to make a joke of every little thing. Like, they're just trying to make the best of their situation, and they know that right now isn't forever. And if that's you and that's your attitude, I love that for you, because that's a really good attitude to have when things are not ideal. So let's go ahead and take a look at your oracle cards. We have, I could always improve the quality of my sleep. Blink would help me rest deeper. Learning more about my astrology, numerology, or personality type would help me sleep deeper. You know, I honestly, so when I was making my morning routines and my night routines, I did look at the suggestions for like a Pisces, because I'm a Pisces sun, but then I weirdly kind of also used my house system. So I use Placidus, which with Placidus, the houses aren't equally divided in 30 degrees. They're not like perfectly in one sign. Like, it's a little messy, but I like it that way, and it's just more accurate, right? So, um, Scorpio actually starts off my 12th house. And then my 12th house actually isn't very big in my chart at all. So Scorpio not only starts off my 12th house, it also starts off my first house. So for both my morning routines and my night routines, I also looked at what they would suggest for like a Scorpio. And I incorporated those things. And, not every single suggestion for either sign really um, worked for me, but several of them did. So maybe that's something you want to look into, like what would be suggested, or what would be restful to help you get better sleep, what would help you wind down. Same with numerology. I didn't do that with my numerology number, but I'm learning a little about numerology lately, and it's definitely interesting. It is, for complexity, like, it's up there with astrology. Like, it's much more pervasive in our everyday than I gave it credit for previously. So yeah, like looking into astrology, numerology, personality type, like maybe that'll give you some insight, not just about your sleep, but maybe about you in general, right? We also have card number 7, snake. We have health, which quality of sleep does have a lot to do with your health. We have Aries, so maybe you're in Aries, maybe you have Aries placements, maybe an Aries is important this month for you. And we have fantasizing. Okay. Maybe you need to fantasize more and soothe yourself to sleep that way. Or, you know, oxytocin and dopamine yourself to sleep. Yeah, that. This channel is 18 plus, by the way, so if you're younger than 18, skedaddle, please. Okay. And then we also have, I have to put a candy here out of my little dish because we got boobies. But we have card number 4 with the rhythm of my breath directs the rhythm of my life. We're going to put a truffle right there. Whoop. Ah! No. Stay there. There. Very good. This isn't sponsored by Lindor, but if they want to sponsor me, I love their peppermint truffles. Okay, so yeah, we have I could always improve the quality of my sleep. Learning more about my astrology, numerology, or personality type would help me rest deeper. Snake, health, Aries, fantasizing, and the rhythm of my breath directs the rhythm of my life. There is actually too, what's coming to mind is there's actually a technique involving breathing that apparently soldiers use when they're trying to sleep anywhere in the world. So, I want to say they they'll focus on they go from head to toe. Go ahead and research this. Like, don't take me verbatim, but I'm pretty sure they start from head and work down to their toes, and they will breathe very slowly. They will inhale, tighten a muscle, exhale, and loosen the muscle. And they work all the way down their body. And usually, by the time they get to their toes, they fall asleep. So maybe that would be a good suggestion for you. Like maybe you have a lot of tightness in your body. With Aries and health, that's making me think about someone having Aries in the 6th house, which maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you have Aries Aries in the 6th house makes me think about someone who is maybe prone to migraines. It makes me think of someone who is very independent, maybe hyper independent in their day to day life, and it causes them unnecessary stress. It does make me think of someone who gets a lot done though in their day to day, like someone who can focus and just get a lot done. So that's a good, that's a good quality. Maybe those are some of your qualities. I don't know. Um, we have number 4 and number 7. I feel very, very scattered with your reading, oddly. I didn't feel scattered with the previous reading, but yours I do. Let's get into what the snake means, though. So the snake, this scene is from Rikki Tikki Tavi, but the snake talks about someone who is seeking revenge on another person and they feel justified in their revenge. So maybe I'm not sure exactly what that's going to mean in the context of your reading. So let's go ahead and just get into the tarot cards. You know what else I'm thinking of? If you've ever seen the show Agretsuko, The one where like she's a cat and she works in an office and she hates her job, so she goes and she does metal karaoke. I don't know, like that's kind of a vibe here. Maybe you need to go like scream metal music to get all of your aggression out. Maybe like you hate your job and the only way you can deal with it is to just like go to a karaoke bar and just give them your best James Hetfield. Give them your best Ozzy. I don't know what you listen to, but give them your best. So for oh man. We're not even trying to be professional at this point. That's how long I've been silent. We're not even trying. Okay. So for your overall month of January, we have Strength in the reverse. We have the Magician in the uphand. That's good at least. What else do we got here? Hello. Okay. And we have the Knight of Coins in the reverse. Okay. So for numbers, we have number 8, we have number 1. 1 and 7 reduces to 8, if that's helpful to you. The Magician is Aries energy. Strength, however, is Leo energy. So we have Aries coming up here twice. So maybe an Aries is significant to you this month. Or maybe that's the portion of your chart that you need to pay special attention to. I don't know. With Strength in the reverse, that is definitely someone who is lacking confidence. But it's coming out with the Magician. Okay. So, Strength coming out with the Magician with the Knight of Coins in the reverse. What I'm seeing here is maybe in January you're experiencing manifesting things that you don't actually want. But when the things that you're manifesting that you don't really want, like say you do work a job that you hate and you're always complaining that like you hate the customers and they suck and this and the other, and then like you always have shitty customers, right? So maybe you're noticing that you're getting more of the same, but you're starting to notice that the reason you're getting more of the same is you're manifesting things you don't want. And it's because you are thinking about things occurring that you don't want. You're talking about things that are occurring that you don't want. And you don't yet have the confidence to know that you can just change your reality. You literally can just change your reality. And actually, the customer thing is a really direct example that I can give. Um, when I was always complaining about the customers at my 9 to 5 job, when I was always complaining about them and like kind of not wanting to talk to them, not wanting to greet them, not wanting to interact with them, I felt like I always had customers that were like really critical, really mean, really aggressive, didn't appreciate anything that was done for them. And, that fed more into my belief that, oh God, like I always get the worst customers, da da da. So, what I began doing is I began, like, I tried my best to stop complaining about my customers in general. Like, I just tried my best to stop complaining about them unless I had a very specific thing that I needed to get off my chest, like a very specific incident I had to get off my chest. Maybe I would do that, but like I stopped complaining about them in general. I started trying to like interact with them. I'd see like maybe something they were buying or something they were wearing, and I would compliment it, or I would try and start a conversation based on that, which didn't work 100% of the time. It never does. Like some people just want to come in, get their stuff, and go, and that's totally fine for them. But I have to be there 5 to 8 hours a day. So, for them, they get to just leave. But for me, like, bad interactions build up, right? So I stopped complaining. I started trying to talk to them. And I stopped trying to see the insidious in everything that got said. Like, rather than like taking things personally, I would just try to like objectively inquire like what they meant by something. And sometimes what they meant wasn't what I thought they meant. So, by challenging the belief that all of my customers were crap at my job, I basically instead, like, I started challenging it, and slowly but surely, I started getting more and more customer interactions that were pleasant. Customers that were kind to me, customers that were kind to each other. Like, it totally changed the way that I was experiencing my 9 to 5 job. So, that is an example of how you can totally change your reality. If you're looking around at your reality and you're realizing that it's reflecting the things that you are thinking, it's reflecting the things that you believe. That is something that maybe you are starting to realize in the month of January, that you actually have a lot more control over your situation than you previously thought that you had. Especially with it coming out with the Knight of Coins in the reverse. Maybe there isn't really a lot here in terms of money or material goods other than this card. But maybe like you are struggling to make money. Maybe you do work a job you don't really care for. And maybe you think that you're not capable of getting a better job, but Spirit is here to remind you that you set your own limits. If you believe you can't get a better job or a job that you're going to be happier at, then guess what? You can't, because you don't believe you can. So, for starters, you don't even try. And then, second of all, even if you do try, often we are very creative in the ways that we self sabotage. So, fixing your belief about your ability to receive more, about you, the fact that you deserve more, because you do. You deserve all the things that you want. You deserve to work a job that isn't something that like you dread every day and you have to drag your feet to. So, challenging your limiting beliefs this month, I feel like, is something that you're doing. Looking at your astrology to be able to do it. Learning breathing techniques, because breathing is also really good for like regulating emotions. I did just get a thought with the snake card. Maybe the reason you hate your job has to do with someone at your job who maybe you rubbed them the wrong way, or maybe you made one mistake, you had one misstep, and they just kind of spend all their time making your job horrible. That is something that just came through with that. But so that's what I have for your overall. Let's go ahead and jump into specifics. So, your love and relationships, career and finances, and your health and spirituality. I feel like your reading is going a little bit faster than pile one's. Okay, we have the moon in the reverse. You're getting a lot of major arcana. We have the emperor. Jesus. Okay. So with the moon and so actually let's first just do numbers and zodiac signs. So the emperor is once again Aries energy. You really need to look at that part of your chart, pile 2. I so stress that to you. You need to pull up your chart on Astro Theme. They do free natal chart things. Pull up your chart. Include your time of birth if you know it, or if you know someone that can find that out for you. And look at the Aries portion of your chart. Look at the house. Look at what planets are there. Look at what asteroids are there. Look at what it's aspecting. Like, just study the shit out of it, January. Pile 2. I just called you January, just about. Study the shit out of that part of your chart, pile 2, because it's really being emphasized in January. That, or you got nothing but Aries people around you. I don't know what to tell you, but that's, yeah. The Emperor is also card number 4, which we had 4 over here, so 4 is really important at this time. And then the Moon is Pisces energy, and that is card number 18. So we did have a 1 and an 8, so maybe the 18th is really important this month. I feel like that's a lot of dates, like just kind of being thrown around. But let's get into what this means. So, for love and relationships, the Emperor is definitely someone who builds their own. I heard enterprise, even though that's not what I was wanting to say. Someone who builds their own empire. With the moon in reverse, however, there's things that are being revealed this month about a person that you know who is very influential. They're very powerful. They're super independent. This is divine masculine energy. Um, I heard, I had watched a reading recently where someone had described the Emperor and the Magician because they're both divine masculine energy and they're both Aries. Um, so the Magician is almost the spiritual aspect of the divine masculine, and the Emperor is his physical aspect, is the way that they had described that. And I very much agree with that, to be honest with you. This could be a person that you're dealing with in the month of January. I almost said November. Maybe you met this person in November, something significant happened with them in November. Take what resonates. Like, don't just go with something if it doesn't make sense. Take what resonates. But yeah, something's being revealed to you in the month of January regarding someone who embodies that strongly independent, divine masculine emperor energy. Okay? Something is being brought to your attention. The moon in reverse also makes me think of I just heard the proof is in the pudding. That's not something I ever say. Um but the moon in reverse also makes me think of like when you're sorry. I just have like a bunch of stuff running through my brain at the same time. Um, it does make me think of like an anxiety being validated with the moon in the reverse. That doesn't mean anything bad is happening. Like sometimes our anxieties can be validated, but once you get the larger picture of the story, it's nothing like it's no one like being manipulative or harmful. It's just like say you're talking to someone and they go silent for a little while and like you get anxious that they're avoiding you and then they suddenly come out over and they reveal to you they're like, yeah, I was avoiding you, but excuse me, I was avoiding you because I simply had a lot going on, or I was avoiding you because this happened and I thought you would be mad at me. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, you were technically correct that they were avoiding you. However, when you received more information, you learned that they were avoiding you not because they didn't want to talk to you. It was simply because they had a lot going on, or they had something that they were afraid to talk to you about, um, but not because of anything that was directly to do with you, kind of thing. Um, that felt a little out of nowhere. Anyway, moving on to career and finances. I'm starting to understand why I feel very scattered for your reading, pile two, because your reading is very scattered. Like, I feel like pile one had a lot going on, but like it all kind of had to do with each other. It was just everything that could be related to a particular subject was happening. With you, you have a lot going on, but it's like a lot of like unrelated crap. Okay, so we have the Hangman in the reverse, that's more Pisces energy. And we have the King of Wands. The Hangman is also card number 12, so that could be significant to you. So we have Pisces here twice, and we have Aries here 3 times. With the Hangman in reverse coming out with the King of Wands for your career and finances, it is giving like wanting to break away from your current financial situation and do something else, and even something kind of ambitious, something kind of big. And that was something that I mentioned earlier, that like, maybe you want a better job, like maybe you have a degree and you don't do anything with it because like you just figure, I've had it for so long, I haven't done anything with it, who would hire me now? Or I don't have any relevant experience in terms of career, like none of the jobs I've ever done have anything to do with my degree, so I would never be able to get a job, stuff like that. With the Hangman in reverse, the specific thing that I thought about is like maybe you're in a job and they keep making promises to you that they never make good on. And you're just kind of like, I'm sick of like waiting for a promotion that's never going to come. I'm sick of waiting for a raise that's never going to come, more hours that are never going to come, this or the other. Maybe it could be something like, like maybe there's something environmentally that like they keep saying it's going to change and it never changes. So taking ourselves out of a place of being suspended and instead being dynamic, going from a passive energy to a dynamic energy. Because the King of Wands definitely creates he creates his own empire, but in a slightly different way than the Emperor. The Emperor builds it brick by brick, person by person. The the Emperor is literally builds his entire civilization. The King of Wands isn't quite that serious. The King of Wands can create from nothing. Okay? The King of Wands is more the idea of like the entrepreneur. That's kind of a King of Wands energy. Um, which you would think King of Pentacles for entrepreneur, but King of Pentacles more reminds me of someone who can take something that is already established and make it more. The King of Wands can make something from nothing. The King of Wands is an inventor, someone who builds a business from scratch. He doesn't build an entire city like the Emperor does, but he can, take his creativity and he can monetize it. He can build a business. He can do those kinds of things. This is a more creative, dynamic energy. So, especially if you have creative ideas and you're being really shy about it, I would definitely go for those things. Try to make your ideas a reality. We with the King of Wands here, and then just all this fire energy, including Leo. You might be a fire sign, or maybe you just really need to like investigate those portions of your chart. Okay, because the other thing is that when you look at a natal chart, the way that it's designed is the same element occurs roughly every 4 signs. And for example, okay, I'm going to use my personal chart as an example. So I have Capricorn in the second house. Second house is values, possessions, self worth, right? So Capricorn being there is I have high expectations of myself. I really value material security, financial security, so on and so forth. And I'm good at making money, not necessarily good at keeping it, but I'm good at making it. I can make it. I don't like going without having a job. I don't like going without having my own income. That's second house. You move on over to the sixth house, 4 signs over, that's now in Taurus. Taurus is another earth energy. The sixth house is mundane tasks and daily life. Those things, second house and sixth house, work very well together because your everyday things build your stability, right? And then in my 10th house, I have Virgo in the 10th house, another earth energy. Your everyday tasks build your career, which is 10th house. So that is like a very loose example of the way your natal chart works together. Okay. Taurus being in that sixth house, that means that I like being productive. It means that I am stubborn. It means that I'm very, I have a hard time telling myself to rest, oddly, because it's Taurus, right? Like everyone's like, but Taurus loves to nap. I do. I like to, I do like to rest. I do like to play, but I also like to feel like I deserved that rest. Okay, which is kind of toxic productivity, but that is, something that is in my chart and in my personality. That tenacity when it comes to my daily life and my daily routine, that serves my ability to make a lot of money, which is Capricorn in the second house. It serves my ability to be able to have the financial security and the material security that I value. With Virgo in the 10th house, that also, kind of comes back to the idea of being a bit of a perfectionist, being a bit difficult on myself, being, but it also means that I'm someone who likes to be in the background. It tells me what I like to do to make money and what I am successful at, stuff where I'm in the background. Okay. More shy and quiet activities. Now, granted, I have Aries in the fifth house, so that does mean that to a degree, I don't mind some attention, which is why I do something where I make tarot videos, but like you don't see my face. There's some videos where you do, but for the most part, you don't. In the writing community, I'm a poet. I am much more comfortable as a open up the book and read my poetry poet than the kind that gets on a stage, but you eventually have to learn to get on a stage, right? All these things, good God, all that to say, all of these things work together. It is worth looking at your chart and getting to know it. It is worth the time that it takes to learn how all the parts work together. So I wouldn't be surprised if you were to sit down with your chart and, you have, maybe you have a similar setup to me where you have a fire sign in each the second, sixth, and 10th house, which that right there all pretty much discusses how you secure your material life. That's what that talks about. And it shows you how it all works together. It shows you what specifically maybe you need to work on, what things you already kind of came to the table pretty good at. It shows you objectively what your strengths are and what your preferences are and what would work best for you. So yeah, I definitely think you looking at your charts would be an answer or would help give you an answer to what would make you happier in terms of your financial scenario. And if you feel a little confused when you look at your chart, that is something I do. You can shoot me an email or whatever, And I mean, I don't do it for free necessarily, but I will look at your chart. I will guide you with the knowledge that I have. If you don't really have the money to spend, you can take it piece by piece and look around on YouTube. There's plenty of people who publish free content on YouTube that talk about astrology and just help you break down your chart. And all you gotta do is put all the pieces together, right? So, tangent over. We're now going to move over to the health and spirituality part of your reading. All right. Be so happy if you're still with me. Ooh, we have the Queen of Wands out here. And we have the King of Coins. Very interesting. So, at the very least, your health and your spirituality is good. It's in a very good place. What I think is interesting is the fact that we have the King of Wands in your career and finances part and the Queen of Wands in your health and spirituality. This is a pair. The other thing this tells me is as long as you are tending to your health and spirituality, the money will follow. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other, which I mean, I would tell you that anyway. You don't have to sacrifice. You should never ever sacrifice your health to make money. That's nuts. The fact that we glorify that in our society is just crazy. Because then we spend all of our money chasing after our health. That's like a nasty little cycle right there, right? But this is showing that definitely in the month of January, if you just go ahead and take steps towards, what makes you feel good, what makes you connect to yourself, respecting your rest, respecting your sleep, respecting the fact that you need playtime. Everybody needs playtime, right? And especially if you want to go after a creative venture, making sure that you are resting and playing, that is so important to helping to fuel the fire of creativity. It is so, so important, to do things like just for the joy of it, to do things just for the fun of it. With the King of Coins here, I do feel like there might be an emphasis on your physical health at this time. You also might receive money related to a health condition. I don't think that's a lot of you. I think that's only a few of you. And again, like if that doesn't make sense for you, don't make that fit. I think that's only a couple of you. So you might be receiving money to do with a health condition. Or like maybe you're someone who you receive some disability, but you still have to work. You may be able to go on full disability and actually make ends meet this month. They're both smiling. That's something else that I'm noticing. They're both smiling. You're definitely in good spirits this month. You just need to fix your confidence. It's the only thing that I feel like is a major issue for you in the month of January. Fixing your confidence and learning to believe that you can achieve what you want to achieve and learning to believe that you deserve it, right? So I feel like that is all I have for you, Pile 2. Thank you for coming to your reading and thank you for sitting through any and all rants and stories and examples that I had for you. I feel like I had a lot in yours. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe if you feel like you want to do so. If not, I'm just happy you're here. And I will see you again soon. Be good, be safe, and love and light to you. Bye. Hi, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. If you resonated with this sticker, if I ever had to run for my life, I would probably die. This reading is for you. You got so many more oracle cards. So many more. Don't tell the other piles, but yeah, you got, yeah, it's just a lot. Do you just like have a lot going on in January? Is it crazy? I need to get grounded. Yeah, it's probably crazy. I need to get grounded, but first, blank will help me get centered. We have chanting, praying, or repeating positive affirmations. Okay. We also have telling assholes to fuck off. There are two wolves inside of us. Mm-hmm. Those are both very necessary in my opinion. I've told someone with love and light, go fuck yourself. It's, yeah, it's a vibe. It's definitely a vibe. We have key card number 33. So maybe 33 is important for you this month. Maybe just the number 3. We have self-care, which key means necessity, by the way. A born leader. Okay. We have control freak. Yeah, that usually comes with being a born leader, being a control freak. No shade to anybody. No shade. I'm a control freak. I get it. And distracted. Okay. We also have card number 17. I live each moment with a presence of gratitude. And we have card number 8. I am courageous, steady, and strong. So maybe lions are significant to you this month. Maybe you're a Leo or you know a Leo. Lions are, the king of the jungle. So, just saying. All right. So, yeah, I feel like your cards are pretty self explanatory. Getting grounded, but first, you need to, first of all, tell people to fuck off because boundaries. But also, you need to chant, pray, or repeat positive affirmations. I personally write affirmations on a whiteboard every single day. And it's made a really big difference in the way that I carry myself, the way I see myself, the way I talk to myself. I've been doing it every day for months. And at first, it did feel silly. At first, it felt silly. At first, it felt kind of pointless. And now I'm like, no, this is part of my morning. This is something that I do to take care of myself. Especially because, like, if you have limiting beliefs or harsh inner voice, it can be really, just a really low energy trick to slowly changing the way you talk to yourself. Because, if I write an affirmation that I wrote like a week before, I might get a little bored with it. So now I have to think about that affirmation and I have to think about how I want to word it. And now I'm thinking harder about this kind thing that I'm saying to myself. Like I'm playing with it, I'm letting it sit in my mind. And then I'm writing it repeatedly. And I'm reading it out loud when I get done with the whole board. So, like, maybe that's something you could do. I feel like necessity is just kind of self explanatory once again, because, like, self care is absolutely necessary. Um, and then Yeah, born leader, control freak, the lion, that all just kind of feels like it goes together. And then I am courageous, steady, and strong. I live each moment with a presence of gratitude. This is really giving root chakra energy for me. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on for you in the month of January in general. Okay, we have the Ten of Cups. That's really cool. Ten of Cups, happiness. We love that. Domestic bliss. Okay, we have Temperance in the reverse, and we have the King of Wands in reverse. Alrighty. So Temperance is card number 14. That is Sagittarius energy. So we do have domestic bliss here. We do have happiness, we have domestic bliss, but then with Temperance here, Temperance in reverse talks about the need to heal and struggling to do so. The King of Wands in reverse is someone who can be a little bit of a loose cannon. Someone who runs away with their emotions quite a bit and can even be a bit mean, right? Can be a bit impulsive, maybe struggles with having a short temper. Um, it is giving like someone who is a good person. Someone who is a good person. They don't hurt other people. They do have good things in their life, but like because of the way that they talk to themselves, especially on the inside, they maybe have a short temper because they're on the sensitive side. Or maybe they let way too much slide. And, then they just kind of go off out of seemingly nowhere, except the going off was coming. Because you can only take so much bullshit before you lose your temper on people. It is giving someone who is capable. But maybe people always like to just tell you what to do, or they always like to tell you what they think of this and the other. And it's like, it's not their life to lead. It's not their life to lead, it's yours. And you're doing fine. But you have a lot of outside voices. And the problem with that is it's making it harder to get your harsh inner voice, your inner critic, to shut the fuck up. Because the more other people around you are, this and the other, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, blah, 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 blah. All it does is feed the inner insecurities that we feel, right? And then we go off on people, and like maybe we needed to tell them to shut up, but maybe we didn't need to do it quite as loud as we did. Maybe we needed to ask them to please keep their opinions to themselves rather than yelling the word shut the fuck up. You know, maybe we go off a little bit. Not because we're a bad person, but because we don't know how to set that first boundary. We don't know how to walk away just yet. We don't know how to just be at peace within ourselves. That's kind of what this is giving. With the Ten of Cups, though, I feel like maybe it's coming a lot from family. And again, like, they're not trying to, like, maybe they're not trying to be mean, but they simply think that they know what's best for you, but other people don't always know what's best for us. And the thing is that even if a person is misguided in trying to tell us we should do this, we should do that, da da da, it's often coming from a place of love. That's the thing. It's often coming from a place of love, but it still doesn't mean that they know what is best for us. It still doesn't mean that they need to always be giving us their opinion. Um, I'm thinking specifically of the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and how the family, like, they're all loud. They're all opinionated. They think everybody in their family could be doing something differently, right? But they all love each other. That's very evident throughout the movie. They all love each other. And all of the opinions are coming from a loving place and just not wanting to see their family members make a mistake, not wanting to see their family members go through unnecessary pain. But there's several instances in the movie, especially with the main character. I believe her name is, I can't remember her name right now. But especially with the main character, like, she really goes her own way in terms of like who she decides to marry. But then, like, you do see little bits and pieces of it, like throughout the movie with the different characters, where everyone kind of like they're they still are part of the family. Still, the choices they make are reflective of a value of family and wanting to honor that the best way that they know how to. But sometimes honoring a value the best way that you know how to means that you challenge a little bit of the limitations placed on the definition of that, right? Um, Her family, like, they really wanted her to marry a Greek man. She fell in love with a man who certainly was not Greek, and on top of it, he was a vegetarian, so he didn't eat meat, which is, to my understanding, according to the movie, a large part of the Greek diet. I could be wrong. But, so they really didn't agree with her marrying this man. Now, they didn't, like, they could clearly see that she loved him and he loved her. And, they could clearly see that she loved him and he loved her and he did treat her well, but they didn't like the fact that he wasn't Greek. Like, that was it. So they were so stuck on this idea of tradition and keeping, the bloodline purely Greek and everything like that, and carrying on everything that makes up the culture of their family, that they were not thinking about the fact that this was the first man that ever noticed her. And he noticed her before she did her little makeover. There was a moment in the restaurant where he noticed her before that. And she had her little makeover so she could feel better about herself. She got a different job, this and the other, so she could follow her own path. And he noticed her again, and it was once that she was following her own path and feeling more confident in herself, feeling more powerful, that she was able to show him who she was so that he could actually fall in love with her. I feel like I'm explaining this movie really poorly. And the other thing that was really beautiful about their relationship is he was willing to become baptized Greek Orthodox in order to be acceptable to her family, right? So he's willing to do a lot to get her family's approval. But there did come an instance where she had to tell her family, like, shut up, stop. This is the man I'm going to marry. I feel like that was a really large explanation for a very easy concept, but I've just been going on little like tangents like this whole reading with everybody. So, yeah. Big Fat Greek Wedding, really funny movie if you've never seen it. Really good show of like Everyone thinking they know what's best for you, but only you know what's best for you. And go and marry that man, whether or not he's Greek. It does not matter. He doesn't have to be Greek. Anyway, speaking of marriage, let's move on to the love and relationships part of your reading, shall we? You're going to be so thankful if you all make it with me till the end. Okay, we have the World. And we have the Knight of Swords. Okay, did you see that card like come out one way and then turn, like spin when it was in the deck? So we have the World coming out with the Knight of Swords. So the World is card number 21, so the 21st could be important, and it is fixed sign energy. So that is Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. So the World and the Knight of Swords, I do see. What I'm getting is like the Knight of Swords is making me think of a situationship, maybe. Or like maybe not a situationship, like if it's not romantic, then maybe like a friendship where a person, says they're going to do all these favors for you, or a family member who says they're going to do all these favors for you. It's a relational situation where there's a lot of talking, but for a while there hasn't been a lot of acting, or for a while there, um, or like maybe all the promises just sound really out of left field, you know? With the World, however, you are experiencing this person being able to make good on the things that they promised you. Maybe it took a minute, but they're making good on the things that they promised you. Because it's not reversed. If the Knight of Swords was reversed, I would say you're walking away from that situation, but that he's not. He's charging forward towards the card that means completion. He's going to make it could be a man, a woman, whatever, but this person who's made promises to you, they're going to make good on these promises, and you're going to see evidence of that in the month of January. So that is definitely a piece of good news that I have for you. And maybe that's something that you need to get everyone's opinions off of you about. Like maybe, if this is a romantic partner and they have made large promises to you, maybe you have a lot of people around you who are like, oh, there's no way they're telling the truth. That has to be a lie. That doesn't sound believable. And it's kind of making you doubt your partner, even though you don't actually have a reason to do so. It's just the people around you talking. Which is kind of reflective of the Ten of Cups as well, because you notice that here we only see Jake and Lady Rainicorn. We don't see their children here. So this Ten of Cups card makes me think like of a couple very early in their union, or a couple like early in their marriage, or whatever. Like it's specifically about that part of the family. It's a long-term partner, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the career and finances part of your reading. Okay, we have the Sun, card number 19, Leo energy. And we have the Seven of Swords in the reverse. So the Sun talks about happiness. The Sun's happiness, being on the right path, and emotional fulfillment. Seven of Swords in the reverse, however, is getting caught, is one way that I look at the Seven of Swords in reverse. There's another meaning that someone suggested to me like a while ago, and I'm struggling to remember what it was. But yeah, so with the Sun and the Seven of Swords in the reverse for your career and finances, it's almost giving like someone who maybe plays a little too much with their money and it catches up to them. That's kind of what I'm getting here. So like just be careful that you're not spending too much, you're not eating out too much. Make sure you can afford those nice fancy toys before you buy them. Watching your finances and just like maybe live a more fiscally humble lifestyle for this month. Because that is kind of what I'm getting here. Like spending your money, not that you're spending it on bills. Like it's not stuff that is an obligation. You're spending it on fun shit, and then it catches up to you, and you get your bill, and you're like, oh no. You get your tab, and you're like, went a little hard. Let me just return this laptop. Like, so yeah, be really careful of that this month. Your reading overall has just felt the most. I did go on a little rant with yours, but it has overall felt the most concise of all the readings. Let's go ahead and look at your health and spirituality. Okay, we have the Nine of Cups in the reverse. And we have the Three of Cups. So with the Nine of Cups in the reverse, coming out with the Three of Cups, again, it kind of makes me think about this a little bit, that advice right there. Make sure that you're not escaping your struggles. Make sure that you're not like partying all the time to deal with something you're unhappy about. Make sure you're not trying to lose yourself in like drinking or lose yourself in gambling, or making sure that you're not losing yourself in shopping maybe, or food or whatever, because that is what that's giving. Like Nine of Cups in reverse is someone who feels like they're not getting what they want, they feel very unhappy. But with the Three of Cups is celebration. So and that card does say distracted, like literally right above them. So yeah, be careful that you're not blowing money just to feel something. Make sure you're not, you're not drinking too much just to make your worries go away. Keep that stuff in check. Okay, especially with what your love and relationships portion said. This person's going to make good on their promises. So you need to simply have faith. And that does come back to the chanting, praying, or repeating positive affirmations. It also comes back to telling assholes to fuck off. Okay? So, yeah, that is honestly all I have for you. Pile 3, your reading was probably the shortest. And I hope January is good for you. Like let me know in the comments like what good things this person brings to you. I want to know. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy being here. If not, well, I'm happy that you stopped on by. And I'll see you again soon. Be good, be safe, and love and light to you. Bye.